One part of the behavior we haven't implemented yet is we haven't made the laser actually destroy any aliens. So if this is the hero's weapon, we would definitely like it to be able to destroy an alien. So I'm going to show you one prototype to get it started, and then we'll improve it a little bit. So if the laser is touching, the alien class, then I'm going to create a method here called killAlien. So I'll show you one way we could do this. And that's to start by saying, get me the alien that I touched. And the way I'm going to call it on Greenfoot is to say, get one intersecting object from the alien class. So this will go to Greenfoot and say, whoever the laser is touching, only get me a list of aliens, and I would only like one of them. It'll then give me one of those aliens the laser touched. There could be many, but it'll basically give me one of them, and it'll return an alien and store it in this variable for me. This here is called casting in Java. It's something very important that all programmers should know about, and that's when you're changing between data types. So here, it returns an object. If you look in the documentation, that's what's returned. All you'd be able to do is work with methods that an object has. But because I know I've pulled it from the alien class, I'm going to end up casting it to an alien so that I can use any methods in the alien, which is going to come up later in this video. So for now, excuse me, we're just using the most basic. And here's what I could do. So I'm going to get the world, and I'm going to say, remove the object, this alien that's been touched by the laser. So now I've got a few things in here that we would want to work on, but anyways, let's talk about what's one thing at a time. So I'll compile that, get my scenario running, and I'll put in the mothership so we can see how this game is working out so far. So it's going to be 0.0, let's go 3%, should be pretty reasonable rate. And I'll put a hero in the world, and now the laser should be able to take out aliens. So when I fire, now I wanted you to see that on purpose. See, it takes out more than one alien at a time. So I don't like that behavior. I'd rather that my laser be destroyed with the alien. And I'd also like this alien to have some drama associated with it, not just disappear but explode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to say that when I touch the alien, let's go and make the alien explode. So that should be the alien's job. Now, it is possible that the laser explodes. I mean, that's reasonable too. But we would like each object to delegate its own method for explosion. That way, if the laser hits a different type of ship, maybe it's a new level, something else, then I could deal with it through that object, and I don't have to get the laser to remember, you know, when you touch this ship, you explode differently. Like, that's not what happens in the real world. It depends on the object that you hit will give you a certain explosion, which is why I know that explode should belong to the alien and not the laser. Okay, the other thing I said was I didn't like that I could go through the world and end up having so many different aliens get taken out. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to say remove this laser. So now I can only take out one alien at a time. Because as soon as I do kill an alien, I remove myself, remove this laser. So this is going to create a problem, because if I do actually remove this laser, I can't ask if it's hit the edge of the world because it's been removed from the world. So this is one pitfall that sometimes people run into, and that's why I'm illustrating it for you right now, is I can't ask this question if I killed an alien because I know I'm going to be taking it out. And the way I block it from asking that question is through the else if. This way, only one of these will be executed and not both. So if I am touching an alien and I'm removed from the world, there's nothing left for me to do. I don't have to worry about pulling the laser beam out of the world. So what's left for me to go and implement here is this explosion method. And I'm going to need a couple of quick things here to do that. First of all, I'm going to need an explosion. Now you should do a better one than me. All I'm going to do is put a static image there. I would like you to do a proper explosion animation like we've talked about and practiced in the class already. So now that I've added this, I'll show you what happens when the alien explodes. Okay, So we're going to add a new method then, so that if an alien is hit, we can make it explode. This is good too, because if I had another kind of bullet or something else, they could all call from this method too. But anyway, first what I'm going to want to do is get its location. So I'm going to save the x and y coordinates, because when I pull it out of the world, I won't be able to ask that question anymore. So when this thing explodes, I'm going to say, find out where you live. Get the world of this alien. And then ask that world to remove this alien. So this basically starts the explosion process, but then what I'm going to want to do is use my explosion class, and I'm going to replace it. And what the effect is going to be is that the alien is going to all of a sudden disappear, and it's going to be a ball of fire in its place that looks like it's exploded. And I want it to be replaced with a boom at the x and y that used to be where the alien lived. So what's going to end up happening is the alien that's just been taken out, it used to live here. So in these coordinates, it's going to be added, but an explosion. So I can show you this behavior in a second, just so you can kind of make sense of what's happened. But it's not actually going to be a finished product here. So I'll compile my code, and then I'll put a couple things in the world for us to play with. So I'll start with the mothership again. 3% seemed to be a pretty good number to work with. And I got my hero here, so watch what happens when I shoot an alien now. So again, it would be better if I made the explosion happen, and I don't like that it lingers. So all I'm going to give you a hint for this explosion class so far is I'd rather that I have a countdown. So I would rather this explosion last for a fixed amount of time. So here's what I would like. I would like a private int, how many frames will this live for? So maybe a better name is lives for. This explosion will remember how long it has to live. And I will now, in a constructor, ask you to tell me what's the time that this explosion will live on the screen. Now yours is going to be similar, of course, but you'll be doing an animation during this time, and at the end of the animation, you'll remove it, just like I'm about to do. So in the act method, basically what I'm going to check on is if the amount of time that you have to live is 0, it's finished. And there's nothing wrong with this logically. However, it's good practice to make sure if it was negative, the timer has expired, it's gone past that. So this is just a little bit safer. So if it's less than or equal to 0, the timer has expired, and I will get the world the explosion's in, and I will say remove the object. So remove this explosion. The timer's up, so take it out. Otherwise, what you need to do is take another frame off. So whatever it used to be, let's say that -1. So if it lived for 10 frames, that means the next time it's going to be 10 minus 1, so this will become a 9. Then 9 minus 1, it would become an 8. And this is so common in programming that there's a shortcut for it. Instead of having to write -1, you can write it like this, minus minus. Similarly, there's one that works the same way for a plus plus. So the explosion needs an integer for it to be built, and I have to add that back in the laser, sorry, in the alien. And maybe I'll make this last for a count of 10. We'll have a look at what it does this time. And it's not going to look too bad, but it's, again, it's not going to animate. It's basically just going to explode. And after the explosion runs for 10 frames, it'll disappear. Oops. 0.03. And I'll put my hero in. So one thing you should also notice is that the laser can only shoot one alien. But now, when it shoots that alien, that explosion disappears eventually. So that's not bad, but again, my expectation for you is that when this, whatever it is that you're removing or doing, there should be an animation somewhere in your game, and if it's similar to mine, however you're using your weapon, you should make that weapon blow up whatever it hits, rather than just remove it from the game politely like this video started. Okay, so that takes care of our weapon. In the next video, we'll take a look at initializing the space project, so I don't have to keep adding the hero and this thing, the mothership, every time I want to run my scenario.